Hey guys, this is SoFlo Josh, and today I have the pleasure of reviewing this 2018 BMW M3 model. Now, the BMW M3 has been in the line for a very long time. It started back with the E30 model. With that M3, it was a gorgeous M3, two-door, was an aggressive hardcore coupe, and now the M3 has gone a long way, and this model is the F80 version. This F80 is powered by a twin-turbo 3-liter inline 6-cylinder powering the rear wheels only. Now, this was the last model to actually have the rear-wheel drive chassis only. They have the rear-wheel drive still, but now they have X-Drive as the competition model. So this was the last model to actually get, well, chassis to actually get the rear-wheel drive only version. So let's start with the front. So the front here, you have your beautiful grills, kidney grills that you know from BMWs. I love these kidney grills because they're honestly smaller compared to the new BMW ones that they have, where everybody calls it the beaver grill. You have this M specific carbon fiber up here in the front. It adds more flair to the front. You know, it's a nice spoiler skirt in the front. You do have holes here for your intercoolers here on both sides, as well as a pass-through for the braking duct system, which is really great for cooling these brakes. Mind you, these brakes are actually the M-specific 4-piston brakes up front. You do have drilled brake disc on this model. They are standing in the Velgen Forged rims here. As you see, it's a very nice rim. It actually complements the Silverstone color that's on here, which Silverstone is no longer an option at all for any of the M3s. The wheels are staggered. These are the Pilot Super Sport Michelin wheels. And let's get to the side. You have a beautiful carbon fiber side skirt here that goes perfectly along. It actually helps with aerodynamic purposes to basically bring all the airflow over the wheel arches here. You do have a nice side fender right here that bulges outward. It's known for every BMW M product that actually has that. You do have these beautiful carbon fiber M specific mirror caps. You also have your LED turn signals here for your mirrors. And you do have an exhaust vent for, like I mentioned in the front, where the airflow goes around the wheel to cool the brakes entirely. So getting to the side, you do have your gloss back accents here all around the vehicle. When you get an M performance vehicle or an M version, you do get that blacked out. Look at this gorgeous carbon fiber roof. Now this is an option. You could get the sunroof, but I would rather actually consider getting the carbon fiber. It brings down the weight as it is already. So back here, like I mentioned, you do have, like I mentioned, a staggered wheel setup here, the same exact rim setup. You have a single piston right here for the rear braking system. They are drilled, like I've said in the front. Mentioning about the whole entire bulge, look how beautiful it accentuates outward to increase that width that this car needs for that track capability days that you want to go on the track. You have this beautiful deck lid carbon fiber spoiler here. I really like the way that this looks. It looks amazing. It also does help with downforce, as you see. It does curve upward, but it helps with that downforce that you need when it comes to track purposes. So getting down here, you do have your M-specific optional exhaust tips with the carbon fiber. Tips as well. I love the way they look. You have your diffuser here. I like how it's actually kind of opened up. This does help with airflow and aerodynamic purposes as well. Carbon fiber diffuser here all around the whole rear end. And like I mentioned, this color is actually really beautiful. It has it's called Silverstone, based off of the track in Silverstone, but it has this nice beautiful blue hue to it. I don't know if you can pick it up in the video at all, but yeah, that's what basically it looks like. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the interior. So now getting into the interior, as you see, you get inside, you have nice soft padded You expect that from, you know, an M model. Nice soft padded all around leatherette right here, and nice leather here. This is actually soft too. You have an area for your bottled water. You do have electronically controlled seats here. They also have a setting so then you can have individual versions if anybody else is driving your car. So getting into the interior now, the wheel is M specific wheel. You do have your carbon fiber extenders here. This is actually taken from the owner has decided to go ahead and put this on. I really like this because it makes it so much better whenever you're making turns. You can go ahead and press the paddle shift and everything like that. You do have a blue button. Usually this would be red, but the owner has changed it to blue to make it her own, basically. Carbon fiber on the dash, carbon fiber on here as well. Very well done. You do have your infotainment screen. It is a touch screen, but you can also use this here, the typical BMW round thing. You have your shifter here. You know, BMW on this is a DCT transmission. So whenever you are parked, in order to go into park, you have to put it in drive and then press up the emergency brake. This is also finished in carbon fiber. You do have your buttons here for all the modes that you need to get into. You also have a camera, and you have parking sensors in here, cup holders right here. You also have a little tray for any kind of storage things you need to put. That can fit perfectly, like a little snacky, but you do have a charging outlet right there as well. Getting over here, in the middle of the console, you have a nice little tray area here. You can put your pens, your pencils, as well as one of those Pop-Tart bites that they came out with recently. That'll be really great for it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the rear seat now. All right, so now getting into the rear seat, you have a really nicely wide open back door, perfect for whenever, you know, occupants are trying to get in and out of the vehicle. Same material as in the front, very soft. You also have a map pocket right here. Sitting in the back here, as you see, I'm behind the driver's seat right now. This is how the driver has their seating position right now. Very nice. You do have a lot of space under here for your feet. Fits perfectly. You do have this beautiful carbon fiber back seat accessory here. I believe this is aftermarket. You can get this aftermarket, or I think BMW does have this as an option in the system. Here, as well as heated seats, so whenever you're going up north, but I don't know if you want to be driving this in the snow or anything like that because it's a rear-wheel drive chassis. You do have the same exact material on the opposite end, of course. You have your speakers down there and up there with a tweeter. So over here, it's very, very nice. I do believe that this does not have a cup holder. This is basically to save, you know, another weight cost right here to not do cup holders, but that's fine. I mean, it's a performance family sedan. If you think about it, it's not meant to be your average, you know, daily commuter vehicle. This is a very track focused vehicle, so I would expect it to not have that at all. So let's go ahead and get into the trunk and let's see how much space there is in there. So getting into the trunk space is very easy to open. It is not powered. They did that for weight saving, of course. Remember, this is a performance sedan, so keep that in mind. You do have in this one, the owner has the optional cargo tray area so then it can keep everything inside. Very nice. I like having this actually so then it can keep all of your groceries inside so then they don't be flying around whenever you're pulling little skirts a little around corners, but that's okay. But yeah, overall the size is pretty big. You have a great amount of space here. Very well done. I like the way they have it. You also have a little power outlet there, so just in case if you need to charge your phone or anything like that. You have little pockets here. As you see, there is a microfiber towel as well as some cleaning product here for the exterior. You also have a little tray here to put some other stuff. But overall, I really like the way that this car, you know, looks on the exterior and interior. They did a phenomenal job. BMW did a phenomenal job with this F80. Personally, I like the F80 better than the new G80 models because of the front end, of course, but I like the way that this one sounds compared to the new one as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take it out to the road. one last little note before we go and take it out to the road. You have a little cubby area here. As you see, you have also a fix-a-flat inflator there for the tires if you need to. But you have everything you need to. You have your first day BMW stuff that comes standard whenever you buy a BMW product. But overall, very great space. I like the way that the BMW really did all the way that they utilized, even for a performance sedan, they utilized a lot of the space in here and didn't take any kind of cuts towards making it more of a performance-oriented model. You know, there is sometimes people do take this as a daily driver. They don't use it only for track, so having it as a daily driver would actually be substantial for the trunk space. Hey guys, this is SoFlo Josh, and we're inside of the F80 M3, and right now she's gonna go ahead and floor it. Yeah! Oh my! Woo! Dios mío! Woo! So here I have the driver next to me. Her name is Valentina. Her Instagram is F80 Queen, correct?
Yes.
And so she's owned this vehicle for roughly 3 years, correct?
4 years in December.
4 years. Okay, so 4 years in December, she's been owning this beautiful M3 Silverstone model. So since you've owned it for basically almost 4 years, can you explain to me what are the pros and cons of owning this exact vehicle? What do you like and what do you dislike? What would you like to see changed?
Most change with the new M3 or just this
well,
car?
This car itself.
I would have preferred it to be a V8,
Mm-hmm.
even though it is an inline 6 at 3.0. Basically, it's a great car. I mean, the only thing that the gas is not very good, especially if you're driving spiritedly, like I usually do. But it's a great car. It's a great daily. It used to be my daily when I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
I now have a different daily. But it's a great car. I mean, it fits people comfortably. It just catches everybody's attention. It's a car that you can put a set of wheels in this car and you still have a space for a passenger in the back.
Yeah. So being said about that with the V8, so you were talking about like the S68 engine, or was it the S68 V8 that they had in the previous M3?
Isn't it the S54?
The S54.
The S54, correct.
S54.
This is the S55.
Yeah, the S55.
Correct.
So you would rather have a twin turbo V8 under the hood, or?
I would.
Yeah, because I know that this is a twin turbo inline 6-cylinder.
Correct.
And it's a little bit different. You know, when they went from the, originally they had inline 6 until, well,
correct.
First the E30 started with the 4-cylinder engine, and then it started going into the inline 6 for the E36, and then onward until the E90 and E92 came out. Correct. For the M3. So other than that, what about maintenance costs? Like, is there any kind of price, certain things you have to do for the brakes? I know you have drilled brakes on here.
Correct. You don't unless you have the ceramic brakes. The only thing that is recommended to change on this car is just like with the E90X platform that you have the rod bearings, is the crank hub on this car. This car has a crank hub that's designed to be one piece.
Yeah.
So especially if you're going to tune the car, which I have not yet tuned the car, when you tune the car, there's so much power on this car that the crank hub can actually break in half.
Oh, wow.
So the aftermarket crank hubs are actually two pieces. So if they do eventually break up, it's two pieces that are still there. And if you do end up with a broken crank hub, it is a complete rehaul of the engine. You're looking at $25,000 to $30,000 at least to fix the car.
Wow. So it's really just in case, like, if that happens, that basically you can still drive it, but it's broken essentially.
It's broken, yeah.
So
exactly.
Basically, you would have to get it towed to the dealership, and they would basically have to order from Germany, since a lot of the manufacturing parts for this, because this one's built specifically in Germany.
This one was
compared
built in Germany,
to the newer ones where they're split between Mexico and Germany now.
Correct.
So, so does this one have a carbon fiber drive shaft actually, or no?
No, I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't?
No.
Oh, wow, okay. I thought that this one would have the carbon fiber drive shaft to lower even more weight for
Not
the
too
actual.
sure.
Okay, so.
Not too sure.
And so after seeing the all new G80 M3,
correct.
what was your reaction about that? Because I know it was a huge controversy when it came to that model as a whole.
My main dislike about the car, and I consider myself very purist, even though this car has a bunch of mods done to it, which I think this car from factory, you do need to lower it. It has a very high front, which is normal in BMWs. The one thing I don't like about the G80 is the massive grille that it has.
Yeah, the beaver grille, everybody calls it now.
The beaver grille. I call it the praying mantis. It looks
the
like
praying mantis?
So, and also, it's a car that, given, and yeah, do people talk about the giant grille, but you have to also look at the older, the 3 Series that came out. I think it's a 3 Series that came out back in the 40s. It does have that extended grille.
I think it was a 326 model?
326, I think so.
Something like that.
But that car has certain lines that actually accentuate the grille.
Yeah.
The G80, unfortunately, it's a car that, well, first of all, they remove the bulge. That to me is, even though the bulge on this car isn't as prominent as the E90, I think the fact that they remove the bulge, it's a car that doesn't look like a BMW from the back. To me, it looks like another brand, a Lexus or a different other car makes.
Yeah.
That's why I prefer this one, which this one, a lot of people, when this car came out, they were used to the V8, back to the whole V8 thing, and this car doesn't have a good exhaust note from factory.
Yeah.
A V8, you could just hear it rumbling from the distance. That's why this one I decided to put the M Performance exhaust and the mid-pipe on it, and now it actually sounds like a real amp. Before it was a little tame for my taste. But yeah, back to the G80, the one thing that I don't like is that massive grille.
Yeah.
I don't like the color combinations inside. I think they were trying to do the whole, from the E30, they used to have those blue interiors. I think the whole mix of different colors, that it doesn't convince me.
Kind of going back to like the 70s and 80s with their design. Yeah. I felt like they did that as well, kind of in a way, because I guess a lot of the customers for this model asked for more availabilities of interior colors, because the previous this one didn't have as much.
No, it
I
didn't.
think they only had kind of basically
extended leather.
Yeah.
Which this one doesn't have extended leather, but it's basically the leather that would extend to here.
Yeah, like it's.
And it extends. This has a little bit of leather, but it just extends.
It's kind of like a faux kind of leather.
And at the door too, so the leather would extend more to the door.
Yeah.
But this is what's called, I think, the Dakota leather.
Dakota leather. Interior. Yeah, I like the way that this actually feels. It hugs you pretty good. I did see the new G80 3 Series M3 seats. I don't really like the cutout ones, because I think, like, you know, where it has kind of like a bulge right here. I don't like that because it's just too much protruding in the way, and it's not. I mean, you gotta also think about the M3 so you can somewhat think of it as a daily driver, but it's a track focused vehicle. But you got to also think about, you know, you're basically paying so much money for that seat, and you can basically not even go on a road trip, an actual enjoyable road trip. And with these, I feel like I can actually, you know, enjoy the actual road trip. And you know, like you mentioned, you did mention that you do have the BC coilover.
Correct, the BC Racing Coilovers.
So with it being lowered, actually, it's not as stiff as what I would imagine. As in, like, you know, it's like my car mine doesn't even have adaptive dampers or anything like that. It's just stiff from the factory. You drive it and immediately you put it in sport mode, and that's it. It just gets really too firm, too rough, and sometimes I can't even go on long distance drives just because of how bad the car actually handles. But this one actually, it might seem in this because of the gyro, it shows it, but it's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty comfortable. So about the transmission, this is a DCT 8-speed. It's a dual clutch 8-speed automatic.
Correct.
When you first heard about them adding this in, I know that did they have it in the previous E90?
They've had it since the E46. The
okay.
E46, you had the manual, and then for a short term, they had the SMG, which people really dislike. Never driven an SMG, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I do like the option of having DCT, and I've driven both manual and obviously DCT, and obviously manual. You do have that thrill of you're in control of the car, but this car on the track, no manual can beat this car.
Yeah, so DCT is just very quick shift. It's a dry clutch from what I heard online. It is a dry clutch. It's not a wet clutch. I kind of wish they did a wet clutch because that's better for longevity, and it's actually smoother. As you, I don't know if you've noticed it in the video. Whenever she is going off throttle with this traffic here, it jerks a little bit. It's because of that whole entire dry clutch DCT.
And the high torque of the
the high torque.
Has a high torque.
It's 416.
not stock, but how I have it right now, it's 413.
413. That actually, I mean, to be honest with you, that's pretty reasonable amount of torque and horsepower. For me, I don't like it where it's too much, where if I can't handle it, then I can't do that, you know?
Correct.
With that amount of horsepower, I feel like it's enough, you know, like the sense of speed and, you know, being able to corner around corners. This car, of course, I'm sure 100% it is tail happy. It is very tail happy because of the rear-wheel drive. They don't even have an all-wheel drive version for this. I mentioned it before.
The F90 M5 is you can change it from, I believe, all-wheel drive to rear-wheel drive.
Yeah,
and it also does it by itself. So if it sees a condition that it needs to be rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, it'll engage it by itself just for security purposes. Yeah,
and then not only that, it's like the new G80 also has the all-wheel drive, but it's only available on the competition model. I know that they later on came out with a competition for this one, correct?
Correct. And which has more horsepower than this one.
I think it was like 432 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken.
There's the total of 4 trims on the M3, so this is like the basic one, which is just the basic M3. Then you have the M3 CCP, which is now it's called the competition package.
Yeah.
Then you have the Jare edition, which only came in one color, which is Macau blue.
That was the 30th. Was it the 30th anniversary?
It's the 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
And
it has it right here. The jar. I'll put that in now where it says it right here on the dash too.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the CS, which is like the ultimate M3 trim.
Yeah, that one was in frozen blue,
that
correct?
That one doesn't have anything here. It's all. That one comes in frozen, and I think it comes in frozen blue, and I think in that color, the gray color. I forgot the name.
Oh, okay. It was like kind of like a cement gray.
Yeah, like a cement. Like a Porsche kind of.
The Porsche,
gray.
Yeah. They probably paid Porsche for that because I know there's some.
Probably.
And for BMW M products, actually, you can get individual colors. I believe, is this an individual color or this is a
this is a basic. This color was a basic color, just like Secure Orange, Austin Yellow, Black, all those colors.
Yeah.
Then this car actually was the last year of the F80. This car is a June model. I got mine in December, and they discontinued the F80 in May of 2021.
That's right, because they had to discontinue it. They had to discontinue it because it's not only because of the G80. Well, the G80 came out like 2 years later on, but it was because of the new standard equipment in Europe and the EU. So Germany couldn't really build any more M3s due to that being the case, which it kind of sucked because I mean this really could have gone for more model years in general, you know. But
there's one thing about the seats which I think BMW is trying to do, like the seats on the G80. If you look at them and you look at Porsche seats, they're very similar.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned the little bulge between the legs here on the seat. That reminds me of the Pagani that has that thing to move the seat.
Yeah.
That to me, that's why I think the G80. That's my personal opinion. Like I think the G80 has way too much going on, and it's not keeping that BMW feel to it.
Yeah, I feel like they also did somewhat of a. I think it's BMW right now is kind of in a weird place. They're trying a lot of weird, different things with all their newer products, which I'm not a big fan of at all because, like I mentioned, the grills. You know, with the 7 Series is when they started doing that whole entire big. Well,
that's a big car. And the X7 looks great because of the. And people also
those are fine. The SUVs are fine, but I don't think that on a you know, sedan or coupe version, I don't think they should have that because it's like it's ridiculous. It's just like it gives you more of like a, you know, a feeling that they don't want. They're trying to look to their past with like the 326 I mentioned or 328 that they had, but that model, it fitted perfectly because you had a huge engine underneath the grill.
Yeah.
With the new 4 Series, I believe it's the G40.
The G40, I think so. Because the 3 is the G20.
The G20, yeah, or G23.
Which I honestly think a G20, an M340 looks better than the G80.
Yeah, I like the new M340, but it's just like that whole entire grill. You have a base engine for the new 4 Series, and it's a 2-liter. It's been a 2-liter, you know, turbo since the previous generation model, you know? And I'm like, you know, you don't really have a big engine. You don't need that much cooling. Why need a huge grill? I can understand in the M4. That would make sense in the M4 and not the M3, not the M440i. But that's where I felt like I think they're kind of not focusing on what the fans want. They're focusing more on what the they're focusing more on the hipster kind of feeling, and you know, trying to change, accentuate, show that they're willing to take risk, and I feel like that's not something that I've looked up to for a 3 Series. My favorite 3 Series ever was back when I played the for the Need for Speed Most Wanted, the first one, the back one, all the way to 2005. That beautiful M3 GTR with that the V8 engine underneath the hood, the one that they actually put into the E90 and E92. That was like my all-time favorite. I mean, even though it's a race car and you can't legally own it, it's just the sound was so pure. You have the side exhaust. It's one of those things. It's like and not only that, in today's age, a lot of car companies are getting rid of V8s entirely for these twin turbo V6 inlines, or like Acura has now a new V6 twin scroll turbo. They're doing every company's doing this now. It's because of the new CAFE standards that we have here in the United States, and not only that, Europe is one of the cases. And with all these companies saying they're going to be going ahead and canceling ICE development completely now. Actually, Audi even said that the ICE development is done. They are no longer doing ICE and the ICE engines. My God, that exhaust sound is so amazing. I'm sorry. But everybody's focusing on electric vehicles, and they're saying, oh, by 2035, we'll be fully electric. We won't be selling more.
A lot of the purists are not going to go to
and not only that,
the sound of an engine, it just doesn't you can't replicate it again.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize, that once it's gone, and we can't get it back. And for me personally, I'm still going to have a gasoline engine because I just love the sound of a V6 or a 4-cylinder. No matter what kind of 4-cylinder it is, those little pops and bangs that you can make are phenomenal. So, but with that being said, I want to thank you very much, Valentina, for allowing me to come on this ride along with you in this beautiful M3 F80. It's been a really great day today, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, make sure to follow her on Instagram. Her name is F80 Queen. I will put that here in the description as well for you guys. But I hope that you guys have a blessed day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.